with you. Our past is gone. We'll drive long into the night. Sunrise lighting our life.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Thirsty Thursday podcast. This is episode number
79.
Come on. All right. Thought you forgot there for a minute.
I thought you were going to say it. That's why I didn't say anything. I was like, well. Well, this is number 79. Thank you guys for sticking around, all you loyal listeners out there. And for those of you who have never listened to a podcast of ours before, welcome. We hope that you don't get annoyed by us and head right on out.
Probably will, but not head on out. You'll probably get annoyed with us, and then you'll stick around to see what else we say, I'm sure.
Right.
Don't worry, it gets better. If you find 5 or 10 minutes in here that annoys the shit out of you, just keep listening and it gets better.
Fast forward or something.
Yeah, just hit the little 30-second forward button on there.
Yeah, we change like the Kansas weather around
We
here.
do. It gets real weird in here sometimes, and then it gets real normal. We'll have some good conversations, and we'll have some real shitty ones. So,
Well, they can't all be good, Derrick.
I know. We can only talk so fucking much. So how are you gentlemen doing tonight?
Pretty good.
Doing well, man.
Yes.
Hey, we got to talk with, or actually we got to share a song last week from a band called House of Ghosts, and they actually emailed me back, and I kind of wanted to mention that. And they, FYI, a little bit more background. You know how I tend to mispronounce names sometimes. Last name is pronounced Stoltz, not Stoltzy. So yeah. I'm an idiot. House of Ghosts has a video out for That Is All. The link is included in the previous email. They have an album coming out towards the end of January they will drop another video at that time. The Clocks were in, and this is their previous band that we were talking about. The Clocks were inducted into the Kansas Music Hall of Fame in 2014. The original drummer and main writer, Steve Swain, passed away around 2006, and Stan Hartman has been the drummer for the band for any subsequent gigs, including the live performance at the Hall of Fame. Original keyboard player Gerald Graves passed in 2017, and the band has not performed since. And Gerald was playing with Across the Pond at that time. So, yeah, I just wanted to thank those guys for reaching back out, and we're happy to share your music with our listeners.
That brings up a good point. If anybody out there listening is going to submit anything, sometimes we're kind of dumb. So enunciate the if it's a hard spelling, because sometimes we always have a problem with that. Really, we've mispronounced bands and.
Oh yeah, Caracalla.
Yeah,
Caracalla.
Yeah,
Caracalla.
Level heads.
Did we ever figure that one out?
Well, I actually found a post where they had created pictures on how to
like
say
a
it.
pictogram
Like a
type
car.
of
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, we but like level heads. Remember, we called them Lule heads for
a long time.
Yep.
Well, it looked like a W, man.
I know.
Didn't know there's two V's in there. Two V's look just like a W.
But
well, it's two U's actually. Double U.
But a name that would be impossible to mispronounce is our first artist that you just heard to start us off with, Seth Duncan.
Yeah, you can't fuck that up, Derrick.
Pretty easy one. That was End of the Night. That was a little nugget of the 80s, dude.
Yeah.
I dig those songs that just take you back a little bit, man. We've had that a few times. And that one, like I said, is like out of a scene, like out of Top Gun or something, you know, like.
Well, what do they call that? Synth pop?
It's got to be.
Is that what the?
It reminds me of like the show Stranger Things or something, like something they'd be listening to. Or
But
it's really well done.
It is, man, and I dig that. Like yeah, just like we said before, it takes you somewhere else for a few minutes, and yeah, well put together.
Kind of remind you of Miami Vice.
Yeah, so I'm telling you, like it's like out of an old '80s movie or sitcom or something, man.
Yeah.
Somebody's about to shag or something.
Shag. I think that was like 60s, dude.
I'm just talking about a PG description of the motions.
He didn't want to say.
I didn't want to say the F word.
Oh, hey, yeah.
Yeah,
because this is a rated R. It's not rated X. It's at least rated R, Tim. So
Well,
this is TVMA, dude.
well,
we drop enough F-bombs.
for mature audiences only.
Yeah. I feel bad sometimes because we get going. I've done way better since we started this thing.
I think we all have.
Yeah.
If you're listening, hide your kids and hide your wife. Like, I'm just kidding. I don't know. We're kind of wild though sometimes. Like Derek said, sometimes we get off the rails. But
most of the time.
Yeah.
Off the rails. But yeah, man. So obviously Eric is happy with the Chiefs' victory.
Very happy.
What about you, Timmy?
You know what? I'm happy for all my friends that are Chiefs fans because, I know how long it's been and they've had a lot of good teams over the years and have just been, falling short. So I'm happy for all my buds. Happy for Eric.
I will say at first I was annoyed because I figured the shit talking was well.
Oh, dude.
But
it's already going to be 2 weeks of fucking shit on Facebook.
I
can't even look at it today. It's just like the same
I know.
thing. Like
face to face, a lot of the fans and stuff have been pretty nice about it. Like just happy they're there. Not like those fuckhead Patriot fans.
So can you guys just both agree that you're glad that the Patriots are not involved?
Oh, I can agree on that.
Yes. Very glad about that.
No, I really I thought Derrick Henry was gonna. It looked like he was gonna just obliterate you guys.
It looked like he had an old dog turd going on in his hairdo. It looked like.
You tell him that to his face.
I'd rather not, but I'm not gonna lie. I mean, coming out of the back of his helmet, it just looked like his dog turd. Fucking.
That guy's biceps are the size of your fucking thighs, dude.
You're right. But you know what? I call it like it is.
Yeah, man. No, so I guess a congratulations is in order to the Chiefs. Very reluctantly, I say that.
Well, all the people who've been like critical of the Chiefs, this postseason, are just like, oh, well, you're not going to get past Derrick Henry. Oh, you're not going to get past the 49ers. Like they just keep going to the next one and the next one.
Well, to be
It's
fair,
like,
you guys have choked quite a bit when you do make it the playoffs. It's only been about 50 years or something like that since you went. I'm still talking
easy,
shit. I gotta
Derek.
talk a little shit.
Easy, Derek. Easy.
Hey, man, I'm a bitter fucking Steelers fan right here. All right.
Yeah, your team
Bitter.
blows, dude.
Oh,
Awful.
I'm a
awful
fan of one of the
season.
worst teams in the league. So I don't,
So you
I
remember,
just
like
did.
at the beginning of the season, Tim and Derek, when we kind of talked about football and kind of where we thought people were going to be and all that.
Yeah.
You know what? I should have pulled
was
that
wrong.
up and listened.
I want to say that I thought the Chiefs would be in this spot here. I'm pretty sure I did. Not the Super Bowl, but I thought they'd be 12-4, and
Yeah, I think you did call that.
I don't even want to know how fucking wrong I was.
Yeah, you said the Steelers.
I
You
was
said the
very
Steelers were
wrong.
going to win the division.
Well, god damn, I didn't realize Lamar Jackson was going to go ape shit and just obliterate everybody. Plus, we had some real fucking bad luck at the quarterback position. It was, yeah.
Yeah, he took one to the nugget from Myles Garrett.
Yeah. Forgot about
That
that.
was brutal, dude.
That sums up our fucking season right there, dude. It just, it was bad. I'd rather not talk about Pittsburgh right now.
So,
Congratulations, Kansas City.
speaking of poundings, did you guys watch the Conor McGregor knock Cowboy out?
I
did watch that.
it. I've seen the videos afterwards, but
That's all you needed, man. They could fit it in a 1 minute clip, and
that was just a
All
good
it
old
is.
fashioned Irish ass whooping, dude. Just shoulder check the fucking
Yeah.
broke his face with his fucking shoulder, man.
Yeah, he
Well, he
made a
whiffed on
quick
that.
work of it.
He whiffed on that right hand, and then just was like, "Oh shit, I fucked up. Now I'm just gonna beat him with my shoulder." Like,
who does that? It's crazy.
yeah, I was surprised. I really, I'm a big Conor McGregor fan. I thought he was probably past his prime a little. I thought Cowboy would show up, but he didn't. But he
Kicked in
did
the
get. He
fucking
just
head.
got. Yeah, he just got caught. I mean,
Got kicked in
Yeah.
the head too.
but I seen something earlier that McGregor wants another fight before the summer, or by summer.
Well, shit, he made what, somewhere between $3 and $80 million in 40 seconds.
I also seen.
It's ridiculous.
So
I also seen that it. I think Dana White said that his next Khabib was going to fight McGregor the next fight. So
I don't know if Khabib wants any of that though. I don't think
I'm sure he fucking wants every bit of it. You not remember the
Well-
whole bus incident? And,
Well, I remember all that, but I just think Khabib's like, dude, I'm good. Like, I don't need to fight you again. Like, fight somebody else, dude.
yeah,
that money that McGregor brings in, that's the pay-per-view. That's always going to be the top ticket. Now, no matter how you feel about
he's so fun to watch, man. Well, I mean, who watches press conferences? You don't watch them unless McGregor's in it, dude. Like, he's so entertaining and so mouthy, and just you got to watch.
He made $3 million just to step in the octagon, just to step in there.
Yeah,
30,
just to step in there,
3 million.
just to step his feet in the octagon. And I was reading that Cowboy
What's that?
was
What's
getting
that
paid
in an hourly rate?
200,000.
200. That's the difference.
Yeah, and if Cowboy was to win, he would get a bonus of 200,000. So that's the difference between, And McGregor said he thought he was going to make somewhere around $80 million, in this fight. So that's a huge difference.
Well, and he's talking about, still doing the boxing and challenging Mayweather again. So there's that.
I still don't know where I stand on that fight. I don't. Whenever him and Mayweather fought, it was a decent fight, but it was also rumored that Mayweather was just kind of toying with him and letting it go that far. But
To me, it was like watching some WWE or something, like seems staged and
Mhm.
no, we're just getting paid. You know what I mean? Fucking, that's about it. Put on a show,
Well, that's probably 90% of what it was.
Yeah, a little bit of fighting and I don't know. That's why I like MMA because you're not faking out there. You're getting punched in the fucking neck, dude. Like,
Dude, I've been watching this this thing on YouTube. It's bare knuckle fighting championship.
yeah, dude.
shit.
Wichita's own Nico Hernandez is in that, I believe.
No way, he's in
Yeah.
that.
I think so. Let me look it up for him.
We ought to talk to him sometime.
Misspeak.
we
Yeah,
should.
we I talked to him back when we first started this stuff, and
That
he
looks
was
like
down,
around the-
down to, and then
Uh,
I don't think it never happened. So
Yeah, that bare knuckle fighting championship. It's quick. I mean, I think they have like 5-round matches, and it's usually a first round deal.
I mean, you're fucking straight up knuckles.
Oh, dude,
Oh.
they are laying haymakers left and right. But yeah, I've gotten into that, and then I of course, when I go down my rabbit hole on YouTube, I got into the arm wrestling championships.
You ever watch those slap competitions, dude?
Oh yeah, and that was another one. The
I
Russians
fucking love
slap.
those, dude. They just
Yeah.
slap the fuck out of each other, dude. So fucking funny,
It's
dude.
literally, I mean, it's funny to watch. I just laugh watching that.
You know what would really suck if you're doing that is like if it's your turn to go and you kind of like don't hit him full on, for whatever reason, like
And then you get
and then now you got to fucking get smacked in the face hard as fuck again. You got to wait.
Yes, so Nico Hernandez is to make his bare knuckle fighting debut March 14th.
Is it that bare knuckle fighting championships?
Yes, BKFC. I would imagine.
Yes,
that's
it. That's the one. Yep. That's cool, man.
100. Maybe
we need to get him on there before, or get him on here before then.
Yeah, for sure. I think I might work on that.
And
that's gotta be intense because he's a little guy. So I mean, they're fucking.
Well, I mean, they're
punches.
It's all weighted,
Well, yeah, but I'm saying they're like little guys are a lot faster. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
they're not necessarily just throwing nonstop haymakers like the biggest guys. They're out there just like, bunch of little precision punches, like.
Boy, and you think you could look at a couple of fighters and say, yeah, he's gonna win, or that guy's gonna win, man. And that you just don't know. You cannot judge a book by its cover in that thing.
Not to take this too low, but Derek, what's that one fighting thing? The Barstool Sports fights.
Oh, damn it! What is that called? I forget.
Oh my god. Funniest shit ever.
Well, what I like about it is it's you don't know, like it's just amateur fighting, and you have zero idea going in who's who and who can fight, and it's entertaining as hell, man. Rough and Rowdy. That's what
Rough and Rowdy, Tim. You got to check that shit.
Actually, got
I'll check that out.
They got one coming up on the 31st, I think.
Dude, it's like what, like 4 hours of fights. Like a lot of them last like a couple minutes. You know what I mean? And then they just get the next people on there like, right away. And they might get paid like $500 if they win or something. Like, you know what I mean? Right. So there's all these people out there just
the best fight. The best fight I think I've ever seen, UFC, boxing, anything. Dude, do you remember the two girls that were on there?
Oh, yeah.
There was these two women fighting, and one was like this 19 or 20-year-old chick, was pretty fit. And this other one was like this probably 30-something, like maybe early 40s, like just trailer park-looking lady, dude, like mean as fuck. And you're thinking this young girl's going to come out and whoop the absolute shit out of her. No, that one lady, dude, that older lady,
queen, baby.
She had her by the back of the head, pummeling this girl, dude. Like,
she got grown-ass woman power.
A lot of these people can't fight to save their lives, man, and they're just going out there trying to make money or something, and
right.
Get these little string bean dudes who aren't tough at all. Get out there just throwing haymakers, dude, just whiffing, dude.
And dude, this shit's like $19.99, I think, for like fucking 3 hours straight fights, dude. Like, there's no bullshit in between, dude. It's like one of them fucking one fight ends, dude, and they're leaving the ring, and then the next fight's like already in the ring. Like, it's just constant.
So what? It's like a pay-per-view thing?
Yeah.
Usually they'll have some comedians in there being the commentators and shit.
Bill Burr did it a few times.
Oh, really?
But I don't know if
the shit out of him, Tom.
You ever watch like Barstool stuff? Like, you know who Dave Portnoy is? He's the president of Barstool. He does the pizza reviews.
Yep.
He's usually on there commentating, and I don't remember the other guys' names, but it's
that shit's just as funny, dude. Like the fucking shit they say.
I don't know. What are we doing the 30th? We ain't playing a show the 31st, are we?
No.
Might have to get that on the tube over here and fucking watch the fights. They're entertaining, man, for sure.
It is so entertaining.
Huh.
Like,
it's just check that out.
Straight amateur.
Just get on YouTube and look up what's it called, Derek? It's called
Rough and Rowdy.
Rough and Rowdy.
Rough and Rowdy.
Dude, it is rowdy.
This one is in Miami. This is like right before the Super Bowl. So
Dude,
it's called.
really?
sometimes they'll put some really badass motherfucker in there with some dude who can't fight either, and he just gets rocks, motherfucker, dude. Like,
Yeah,
you don't know.
it's the equivalent of like it would just be like putting me and Eric in there, dude, and just
Right.
fucking letting us go.
Just
to town.
lining up people who want to get paid outside of the ring, dude, and just all right, you're next. Fucking. Some of them have been on there a couple times, I think.
Yeah, maybe.
It's like John has an 0-9 record versus Tim. He
in
is
the rough and rowdy ring.
Tim is 1-7. You're like, oh my god, this is gonna be brutal. Yeah, it's pretty.
Yeah,
nice.
it's fun to watch, dude, for sure. Man, what else is going on? Where were you Saturday night, Tim? Friday night.
Well, I've got a rule that I don't go to bars in Wellington, Kansas.
Okay, that's fair enough. It was a party for sure.
Get pretty rowdy.
It did. There was actually a fight after we got done playing. So.
That's what I think. Hence the reason I don't go to bars in Wellington.
Derrick, your sister was trying to stop somebody from getting rowdy, and somehow the girl that she was talking to got a little rough, and was like backing up, and your sister was behind her, and her and your sister fell down like right in front of me. Your sister, I was like, God, she's a fucking medicine. She didn't spill her beer. She was on the ground, and beer still up. I was like, yeah. And then I helped her up, but she wasn't like fighting or nothing, but she got kind of in the wrong place, I guess. It was like,
Sounds
she didn't
about
spill her
right.
beer.
Yeah,
She
it was
all-
funny, man. Everybody had one guy over this side, and the other guy was on this side, and I was just in the middle of it. Fucking, how about that Brother Jukebox? Everybody was pissed, and all of a sudden I said, how about Brother Jukebox? Yeah, everybody starts yelling and shit. I said, everybody liked except for that fucking pussy over there. Wants to fucking try to fight everybody or something like that, and then I left. But
Wow.
But yeah, I was a drunk son of a bitch. I was drunk.
People kept giving us booze.
Oh man.
Well,
The table right next to me.
the
they turned the
spoils
light
of
on.
victory.
They turned a light on. I was like, my God, over there by Derrick, like the lights came on. You could see the aftermath over there.
There was like fucking 5
All these
cans,
Cans and shot glasses tipped over, and
empty Jello
all
shot
sorts of shit.
cups. That
Sounds
was
like you guys had a great time.
dude, we kind of packed that place out.
Good. Was that the grand opening?
Yep.
That place?
Yep.
So that was the first time they had opened the doors, or they just
No, they'd been open for a couple of weeks, I think. but
okay.
yeah.
That's
Did
part
they
of the best.
remodel it? Did they
Was that-
remodel it?
No, it's just still the same. They just changed owners and changed the name and did a grand opening, and we
Cool.
broke it in. I know
Oh
that.
yeah, yeah. We might have been past capacity. I don't know. I don't know what the capacity was.
Didn't care to.
Well, that place isn't Kirby's, but it's not big. by
kinda
It was
felt like
about
it.
the same thing, dude. I don't know how all 6 of us fit in there. To be honest with you,
God.
That little side room, man. We
took up half of it.
Oh yeah, by the fireplace.
yeah, we were like
We took
right
up
next
half
to
of it
that.
diagonally.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody else was piled in that little room, and then they were off to the side in the main bar, too,
Yeah.
kind of watching and shit. And yeah, it really had a Kirby's feel to it for sure, dude. It was loud and packed.
Did anybody yell out, "Play some Skinner"?
I think so, but I can't remember.
Now there's people singing along and dancing, and
That's great, man.
they I thought they enjoyed themselves. I'm sure the owners were happy with the performance and
Good.
have a full bar, and that's kind of one of the reasons we do what we do.
Well, that's why, as a venue owner, you bring in bands, is for just that reason. Pack
Yeah,
that-
it was I was like, well, they probably would have been packed anyway, but then I realized, like, shit, I know, like, my sister, she brought over fucking, I don't know how many people from the door, which I'm sure they were real pleased about. I bet you there was probably 15 fucking people there that left the door and came over there.
Uh-huh.
So
Well, that's where the action was, you know. Don't rock the jukebox, baby.
so yeah, man, that was a good night. And then I got hung over, and then I was fucking sicker than shit too the next day. Till
It's
this
going
morning,
around.
halfway through today.
I still think it was all them shots, Derek.
Oh no, it was worse than that. I had just had a cold and shit too, but I was walking around all night without a jacket on. I was outside smoking fucking half the night, just in the cold. And
Shit'll kill you.
Right?
yeah, so it was that, and after that we went out to my sister's house and drank, and we're just sitting in a cold ass garage, no coat on, breathing in a bunch of smoke from the fucking fireplace in there and shit. That's what it was. But stupid me, almost 37 years old, I haven't figured out how to fucking not do that stuff. Just wear your coat, dude. Just wear your fucking coat. Don't smoke 3 packs of cigarettes in a night. Go home at a decent time. No, I'm out till 5 in the fucking morning, no coat, smoking like a freight train. Then I'm sick for fucking 3 days afterwards.
And you wonder why.
And I wonder why. No, I know why. I'm just too dumb to change it.
You got to recognize these things when they're happening, but that's just not something that you've done yet.
No, I probably said it fucking 6 times that night. Like, oh, I'm gonna get sick. I'm gonna get sick, but I'm too dumb to.
Ooh,
Let's party.
Oh,
I like that
I
sound.
know that sound.
Whoa.
Hey, speaking of that sound,
Slurpers McGee over there.
speaking of that sound, we need to talk about our sponsor.
Yes, we do.
Norton's Brewing Company.
Yes, 125 North St. Francis in Wichita, Kansas. You can reach them at 316-425-9009. Man, some of the best beers in, I would say, in the country. They're always doing top-notch stuff over there. They just came out with the what was it called? The Slapple.
The Dunkin' Donuts, dude, too. They just this weekend.
Oh yeah. I know that they've got all those great specials for dinner. Like today, we're recording this on a Monday for Thursday, but today's special was that fried chicken,
Dude.
fried okra. Did you see the picture?
Yes.
Oh my God. Yeah.
So yeah, that Splapple, that is the Acts of Kindness tap. $1 of each of that goes towards their friend in need, Alice Henningsen. She has a rare paralysis condition. I guess she was an employee there.
Huh.
And just fell down with this condition. And so, yeah, $1 of that goes to her, every beer you drink. And then also, did you see the other beer they just tapped was the Dunkin' Bro Nuts?
Oh yeah.
They just
That's what
tapped
Eric
that
just said.
Saturday.
Thick boy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
12%. Pastry stout.
Imperial Mega Thick Boy Rocky Road Ultra Donut Pastry Stout.
Oh
Yeah,
my God.
Go to their page. They got a video of them making it.
God,
Yeah,
looking
I
at
think I shared it to the Facebook, the radio station Facebook, actually.
just looking at the picture of that, dude, it just looks like fucking maple syrup.
Man, they're just chucking donuts in there, and it looks.
I know. They're doing kick flips in the brew house.
And they may still have some of that juice cult left, which I thought was delicious, which is the Galaxy and Citra and Mosaic.
I didn't try that one yet.
That wheat IPA, 7.4%. And I did have that, and it was delicious. So they got some fucking really good beers going on over there right now.
Oh, they
So head on down to Norton's at 125 North St. Francis.
All right, so we got a interview with Nathan Snyder of Vandarth. He has an album release coming up that he's going to tell us all about. So, what song are we going to play from him going
I don't
into
know.
this?
I don't know. Maybe we'll surprise you.
But, all right. Well, on the other side of whatever song we decide to play, we'll be talking to Nathan Snyder.
Oh, is this the end of it all? Years of devotion caught in the wind. We age 'cause now we're not limitless. While we're young, grab on, come on, this is it. All the boats stand down, but there's no way around. We'll fight, carry on to the end of the earth. Though the way is long, and there's no way around. Enter till the cavalry comes around. Oh, we used to dream about it, but the day they acknowledge that we exist, so hills and to climb would be comfortable. The desire and the fire, it never went out. All the foes stand down, for there's no way around. We'll fight, carry on to the end of the earth. Though the way is long, and there's no way around. Enter till the cavalry comes around. All the boats stand down, for there's no way around. We'll fight, carry on till the end of the earth. Though the way is long, and there's no way around. Enter till the cavalry comes around.
All right. So, we are sitting here with Nathan Snyder from Vandarth. Man, what's up?
Hey, how's it going?
Pretty good, man. Hanging out, sharing a couple beers is what we're doing. Or at least that's what I'm doing.
For those of you that don't know Nathan, he actually is that a solo thing that you do?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You put that, so he goes by Vandarth and does some phenomenal music that he puts together all by himself. And do you do all those instrumentals on that?
I do.
That's just so impressive.
Yeah, it is.
Great musician. Not only that, he also does the Mind of a Musician podcast that's featured on our website. So, multifaceted, multi-talented individual we're talking to today.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. So you've got an album release show coming up here real quick. You want to talk to us about that a little bit?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, on January 30th, I'm releasing an album. It's called Space Coffin. It's being released at Augustino Brewing at 7 to 9 p.m. So it'll be an acoustic show, which is kind of going to be a little bit different because the album is like full band arrangement. But I'm going to do acoustic renditions of the song and try to do kind of like a storyteller's type of thing and take people through the journey of what that album was about, what I was going through at the time. And it should be a really cool experience, hopefully.
Right on. So how are you going to pull that off?
I have no idea.
I mean, you know, playing all the instruments yourself, that's got to be, that's going to be interesting.
Yes. Yeah, some of those songs are not written as acoustic songs. I'm going to get courageous with a couple of them and try them. I'm thinking about taking a couple of them and using backing tracks that I create to, you know, give people the full experience for a couple songs, but it should be good.
All right, man.
I like that place, Augustino's.
Yeah. I spend a lot of time there now, so.
You do? Yeah.
Yeah.
Hanging out, playing music. How's the crowds over there on the do you play like throughout the week or the weekend, or when do you usually play over there?
Oh, they do live music every Thursday nights, about 7. In February, it'll be 8 because they're pushing it back a little bit for Wichita State basketball. But I took over booking bands there in January, so I'm kind of.
Oh, wow.
Which is cool because now I get to interact with more musicians and try to build some regular friendships with them, and it's cool.
Yeah, that is cool, man. So, you know, other than, you know, doing your music, you do the Mind of a Musician podcast. Can you tell us about, you know, what's been going on with that, and, you know, what kind of direction you've got envisioned for that podcast?
Yeah. That's kind of a hard one because I'm in the process of retooling it a little bit. I think I either want to make it maybe a discussion, like I bring a couple people in, you know, put a local song by a local band on, and then like talk through it like a round table, maybe something like that. I did make Mind of a Musician a nonprofit organization in the fall. So I'm kind of planning on trying to do some promotion to help elevate the whole scene. Maybe a music festival, kind of like I've got this idea about a virtual tour of the Wichita music scene where every week people get an email with like a band, a video, and like a free song. And so over the course of a year, they would really get to know like the local bands, and hopefully that would result in more people going to shows. And there's a lot of people that I ask them like, hey, do you know who, you know, Jenny Wood is? Do you know who Dusty Grant is, or any of these people? And most people who don't have some kind of personal tie to the music scene say they've never heard of them. And I really kind of like, it almost shocks you because like in our world, these are super talented, well-known people, but I don't think the average person in Wichita necessarily has heard of them yet. So it was an idea to help raise exposure. Kind of like what you guys are doing.
Yeah, that does bring up an interesting point. And I think that's kind of the gap that we want to bridge, you know, is to bring those type of listeners into the Wichita music scene and let them see what kind of talent that we do have. You know, you're talking about Jenny Wood and Dusty Grant, you know, and many, many others. You know, it's just a thriving scene. And for somebody to not know, you know, those type of names, that's kind of our job, you know, and that's what we need to, I think, focus on. You know, all of us like-minded individuals, we need to focus on that and really drive that forward.
I think there's a lot of people that just your everyday person in Wichita who thinks, you know, local live music is going to the arena and spending $80 on a ticket and hearing, you know, some top 20 artists, you know, come right in and leave right outside of town. You know, I don't think a lot of people realize that, hey, you can go to like dozens of bars around here and venues and you can pay $5-10 and maybe 15 and see a bunch of local live music. You can talk to them, you can shake their hand, you can have a beer with them, you can go see them next week if you really like them. Like, I think there's a huge gap in people's awareness as far as what's really happening around here.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've got a really good foundation to start with. But yeah, it's shocking that there's so much good talent here. I mean, I went to the Shamrock Lounge on Saturday night, because Dusty was playing with Rise Again, and they were doing like this acoustic storytellers type of show. And I mean, that's a professional level show, and it's just local people. It's amazing.
Yeah, I agree. That's what I say too. Like I try to stress on here, like go to a show and, you know, just walk into a bar where there's music and you'll like it. I almost guarantee you'll like it. You'll have a good time. If you don't, then go to the next place. the next, I mean, because there's something for everybody around town, and super talented artists all around town. Yeah, you'll fall in love with the band, I know.
Well, that, and I think that by doing that, you're keeping money in town. Like I said about the arena and stuff like that. Sure, there's great music that comes through there, but they take all that money from the community and just get right out of town with it. You know?
And that's my biggest gripe with those shows. And, you know, we've talked about this before, but why don't we just book a local opener on those type of bills, you know, give them that type of exposure and you know, and that's going to get that casual listener to realize, hey, that band's from Wichita. Are you kidding me? Mm-hmm. You know, those people that show up early to concerts are going to be like, wow, you know, we need to check out this scene, because if that type of music's coming out of Wichita, then what else is going on, you know? And it's just going to take one band to make it, and the scene's going to hit big time. I do believe that.
Mm-hmm. You guys are making a big contribution, so I think you're doing good work.
Well, we appreciate that, man. And, you know, that's why we reached out to you. I mean, it was a while back. You've been on, you know, on the website for quite some time. It was just, we see like-minded individuals who aren't selfish and, you know, greedy. Then we want them on board with what we're doing. And we really appreciate what you do for the scene as well.
Well, thank you. Appreciate that.
But
So what's it like being kind of taking a step back, you know, and doing the podcast and observing and kind of trying to encapsulate what's going on? And then also, you know, you're kind of like us, and you're like, well, you're in it too. You know what I mean? Like you have your own performances. Like, how do you juggle all that? You know what I mean? Like,
oh man, I don't know. I've been wondering how you guys do it. I mean,
the same way you do.
Because there's three of us.
I am really busy, and it's good. It's good busy. Like I feel like I'm either working towards a goal of mine, or I'm helping somebody else. Like, it's all very meaningful to me. I don't know. I'm trying to learn to be more organized and like set up Google calendars and stuff like that. And it's hard. I mean, a lot of the time I'm working like 8 a.m. to, I don't know, I've got meetings in the evening and stuff, and I get home from that and I'm doing a podcast at 9 o'clock at night, 10 o'clock at night. And it's busy. I think part of the key to that is like actually making myself take a rest day. I'm not real good at that either, but I'm trying.
Yeah,
sometimes we have to give each other a rest week.
Yes.
Those rest days, they're kind of tough. Like you'll clear your schedule, and you're like, I'm just gonna let go of everything, and then, well, let me check on this, and something will pop in your head, then you got to go do that, and you don't really get to rest too much. But
yeah, well, this album that I was working on, it's been different this time because I tried to set up a promotional campaign for it and do some things that I hadn't done before. Like 6 weeks in advance, I started trying to put out some content. And before, it's kind of like you finish an album, you post on the internet that it's done, it floats out into space, there it is. And this time I tried to be a little bit more strategic, and I don't know, we'll see what happens. But like that I had read some articles and listened to some podcasts, and they tell you, try to spend as much time promoting and marketing your album as you did writing it and recording it. And I'm like, oh crap, it took me like 5 years to get this thing recorded. You tell me I gotta market this thing for the next 5 years? And I don't think that, but it did make me think about like, okay, I've got to be more strategic, and I've got to approach this like a business. And that involved learning a lot of new things. And I think a big part of it is I need to learn to tell my story well. And I think that will go a long way, hopefully.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Well,
Something
very
I kind
cool.
of something I kind of picked up from last week's episode from us was like no matter what instrument you're playing or what you're trying to convey, like if it's not vocal, you have to find a way to, just like words, like if you're going to sit there and talk, like your music is the same way. Like how do you, like your instrument, like what do you want your instrument to say? Or, what do you want your what kind of drum beat do you want it to be? What kind of feeling do you want to come out of it? And, kind of made me think a little bit more than I previously had about music a little bit. I kind of felt like maybe people had more of a purpose behind their writing than just, oh, these are the words, here's what we're going to play to it. And, hopefully people like it. You know what I mean? Like take a little more time to break it down. And, well, I didn't like that note in there. You know what I mean? We're going to do this instead. That sort of thing. And I feel like you're one of the type of people to really break down the mechanics of a song and every little last detail of what you want it to sound like. And I don't know how you do it, because most of us can play one or two instruments and maybe excel at one. And you're over there. you have like, it's like painting, you know what I mean? Like there's people who can really paint some really intricate paintings and drawings and stuff like that, and there's people like me that I couldn't think those details if I tried, you know what I mean? And I think you have this unique ability to hear something well-rounded instead of, oh, this is the guitar part and here's kind of what I want to say to it. You can think, oh, well, this is kind of the bass line I want, which I really enjoy about your music and just watching you operate in general.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. You have no idea how hard it is for me to like get the drum tracks done. I guess I call myself a fake drummer because I see somebody like Shane from Rise Again, and I'm like, that guy is a beast.
Yeah.
But for me, like I have to make these scratch tracks, like practice tracks of guitar, and put it on my iPod, and I have to drum for like 9 months to get ready to cut a record. Like I'm not as polished. Like I'm fairly polished by the end of that. But then when I get done recording, like I don't have time to keep playing drums all the time. So it's like 2 years until I play again. Then I write another batch of songs and I'm like, okay, load up the iPod, and then I'm practicing again. And I wish I could like just master drums, and then I wouldn't have to do all that. But
Yeah, it's got to be tough.
That's incredible, dude.
the hardship of being like the songwriter type, because you feel like you're not a master at any one thing, but you see things as a whole and how they fit together, I guess.
Well, I think that's the interesting thing about your podcast too, is you really get into a song and break it down to a fundamental level.
Right.
Something that Eric and Derrick and I we just don't have the mental capacity to even hear that. It's just incredible what you do, and that's what attracted us to what you do initially, and your musicianship is just phenomenal. So we can't wait to hear what you got coming out. You haven't sent it to us yet, have you?
Yeah, and Eric's got a copy. I think I sent
Eric's got it
maybe a week ago.
Is it an email or is it a message?
I sent you it on Facebook in a message.
Ooh.
And then I emailed it to the station. Like, actually, it's only been 4 or 5 days.
Okay.
I'll have to go look for that.
I've had a couple people hit me up lately that said they sent us stuff and we haven't seen it. So we may have to look into that. Hopefully we don't have an email issue going on.
Well, I may not have sent it the correct way, like the way that you have outlined on your website. I'm not sure.
I don't see it anywhere. So I don't know.
You hold people to that.
Okay, I'll
watch out.
I'll send it again.
So do you think you put all these songs together? Is there any part of you that wants to put a full band behind you at all, or you want to continue down the solo path, or what is your thoughts on that?
Yeah, actually, my long-term goal is to make a band out of it. You know how Dave Grohl started Foo Fighters as a solo project and then started a band behind it? I think over time, I want to add some band members. Um, the reason I haven't done that yet is because I was trying to build up vocal endurance. Like 7 years ago, I paralyzed one of my vocal cords, and I had to learn to sing like all over again from scratch. And it wasn't until last year where I really felt like I could actually start gigging again and not, risk falling back on my old singing habits that did the damage in the first place. And so like Dusty Grant asked me to play at one of his shows, and that was the beginning in June of me playing again. So I'm maybe getting close to that point, but I just couldn't do I couldn't go at the pace that I wanted to go at for a while without, with other people involved. And that's still my goal. I think I'm getting close.
So you talk about, some singing techniques that you were doing wrong. Can you kind of expand on that? I as a former singer, I would love to hear what, that was all about. What was causing, some of the vocal problems you were having and how you corrected that. That's interesting to me.
Yeah, well, I'm kind of mad at myself, first of all, for not listening to my mom, because she was always like, when I was 14, 15, like, hey, you want to get some voice lessons? And I'm like, no. Like, I didn't want to sing in front of people without a guitar in my hand. There was something very self-conscious to me about that. And part of it's the, like, what do I do with my hands thing, But I loved, like, Pearl Jam, and I loved the songs where he would, like, scream and stuff. And to me, when I was listening to that, it sounded like somebody's using a whole lot of air and they're just like screaming, right? Lots of power. Well, in reality, if you try to sing like that every night, then you're gonna mess up your throat. Well, there's another way to get that same sound, and it has more to do with vocal cord flexibility and control and like optimization of air. I don't know if you know what head voice is. Have you heard that term?
So you've got
falsetto kind of, or
you got head voice and throat voice, and
they're different registers,
right?
So, and I don't even know how to tell you what exactly a register is.
I understand it.
Like ranges within your range.
Mm-hmm.
Well, head voice is like falsetto, but okay, there's like kind of two different schools of thought. But I found out that when you're singing in your head voice, your vocal cords are coming together, making a tight seal in a very small focused hole for the air to go through. Well, when you're singing in falsetto, you're actually pushing the vocal cords apart and using a lot of air. Falsetto, if you sing your high notes that way, it's harder on your vocal cords. You can get some wind burn. So the vocalist who is going to have the longer shelf life, longer career, is the one that can learn head voice. And then you start to blend in your chest voice. But when you're in your head voice, that's when you can learn to put some of that grit back in a healthy way, like AC/DC or something. So I had no idea that there was, I almost think of it as like a ballerina. You're learning this finesse way to have power in your voice instead of just pushing air or screaming at the top of your lungs. And I didn't know that. So, I didn't scream a lot, but I belted and I used like way too much air. And eventually I lived in Austin, Texas. I went down there to try to have a music career. And I had a week where my friends and we tried to go out and play everywhere we could. So we played like 5 times in a week. And at the end of that, there was something seriously wrong with my right vocal cord. And it just would not come over anymore and make a seal. It was stuck out at the edge and it wouldn't come in. So I couldn't hit any high notes and I lost about half of my range and it scared me to death. But yeah, that took a couple years to resolve.
Wow, man. I think our good buddy Glenn Shipman, he can attest to some of those struggles, with having, I want to say, what was that, a good 3 or 4 months ago? He had a kind of a scare.
You couldn't even talk.
yeah, he couldn't even talk or anything.
Oh man.
And, you know,
He had to do his rundown with a computer that week.
yeah.
But he had to type out the rundown and make a computer voice talk out.
Oh,
what
I've done
shows
that
were playing
before.
week.
Yeah.
So where did you learn some of these techniques to correct that?
So I did a lot of research, and one thing that was unfortunate is I found out there are a lot of vocal teachers that are still teaching the belting method. That's the method that got me injured. They'll tell you that head voice and falsetto are the same, but I think if you had a camera in your throat and you were looking at what the vocal cords are doing, they're opposite muscular functions. So then I learned there were 3 registers. One resource that was a huge deal to me was Ken Tamplin's Vocal Academy. He went around and studied like 30 different types of singing and then kind of tried to compile it together in this one resource. So I got that DVD and I just started doing the exercises every day. So that helped a lot. But like the weirdest thing about my album, Space Coffin, that is coming out, I started writing that album, I don't know, like 8 years ago. Like some of these songs are pretty old, but I just now finished them. I recorded about half the vocals before my injury, like years ago. And then I recorded the other half after. But a lot of those songs are written like in the middle of the vocal cord paralyzation. And so I was sort of like going through an identity crisis. And there's a lot of psychology behind the songs because that's very present in them.
Wow. So is that something that you think or did you go back and change any of those vocals, or
Nope.
you just left them because of the emotion that was involved in them? And
Yeah.
that's really cool.
Yeah, it was really weird. I when I was revisiting these songs to finish them for the album, it was just kind of weird to listen to them and remember like that whole struggle. That's part of the reason I left Austin. I came up to Wichita to just find a quiet place to recover and do my voice exercises and do the voice therapy. And I thought I was going to go back down to Austin. I ended up staying here. But yeah, it was a really weird time because if you make music or something your identity and then that gets taken away, then you're left thinking, well, what's left of me? Like, what am I now? And that's the type of thing that I was in.
So do you have any ties to Wichita, or you just said, pulled out a map and pointed to the, closed your eyes and put your finger down and said, yep, that's where I'm going, Wichita, Kansas?
Yeah, I had been coming up here to visit my college roommate because he was at the Air Force Base. He worked at McConnell. And I moved up here just after the vocal cord paralysis. I was like, I can't be around all this music and not be able to participate. So I came up here.
And then you find a music scene all of a sudden.
Yeah, well, what's weird is I had no idea all this stuff was going on. I think I finally stumbled across you guys on Facebook a couple years ago or something.
Yep.
I didn't know the music scene was what it is. And I was here for 5 or 6 years without doing anything or participating at all. And the first thing I did was start that Mind of a Musician podcast. I started that before I started playing gigs again. But it was only a few months after I got up here, after I moved here, that my roommate deployed to Kuwait for 6 months. And then he came back and then he ended up moving. So I had to kind of form completely new ties here. Which is good.
Well, we're glad you're here, man. Like, I think you're an asset to the community, whether you know it or not. And I think they need your perspective, because you've been in other music scenes of different sizes and magnitudes, and you've been in them, and you can kind of take some of the things you've learned throughout time, and like what you're doing to me, you're helping the music scene here. So, I mean, although you're not from here, you belong here. You know what I mean? Like you've made your staple here, and I think that to me, from what I've seen, you've had a really good welcome here, from a lot of
Yeah.
local musicians and artists. And I think that's a big thing about the local musicians here is, nobody's like against each other. And it's, there's stuff that people enjoy, more than others sometimes. But I think that there's not one band that we've talked to that you can't just go up to and hang out with and get to know them. And, nobody's an asshole here, as far as bands go. That's from what I've seen.
Yeah, it's a good community. I mean, I was always kind of shocked at, like I mentioned, Dusty got me my first show at the Elbow Room, and then Rise Again asked me to play at Barleycorns in September, and like I don't have any business playing with them.
They are awesome.
Like, I have like 3 or 4 friends who come to my shows, like I don't have that many people following what I'm doing. I'm not even remotely in their league. And I felt, I don't know, I felt very welcomed into the music scene, and I couldn't believe that they would reach out in that way. And I really appreciated it. But like, I'm an unknown. I'm like a guy in my house who writes songs, I don't necessarily do anything to earn something like that. So it's kind of
I think that your talent, speaks volumes. Not only that, your ear for music and your ability to break it down, like I said before, to a fundamental, level. I think people really appreciate that. They appreciate the the professionalism and the attention to detail. Really do, man.
But I think that's a lot.
We really appreciate what you're doing.
Tim,
on our level, helping us and giving us content. Really like your music. Is there, so you got your show coming up. Do you want to talk about, kind of your social media and anything you got coming up on any end, musically or podcast wise?
Yeah, I've got a couple websites, vandarth.com, vandarthmusic.com. If you go on there and you sign up for the mailing list, what I'm trying to do is like take people behind my own music. So I'll send out unreleased songs. There's a bunch of songs that didn't make Space Coffin that are good. They just didn't fit with what I was trying to do. So I'm trying to send out like bonus material, behind the song podcasts and things like that. I'm actually making a documentary this year. It's
cool.
It's sort of like a web documentary. Like every 2 weeks, I'm going to put out like a 5-minute episode, and it's supposed to document some of my activities over the next year. But I wanted to bring as many other bands into that process as possible. So if I go to a show, I'm going to take my cameras and I'm going to take some footage and try to show other people in the music scene and just kind of show the world what's going on here.
Like I said, like-minded individuals.
Yeah. So I think that stuff will debut on Instagram and maybe Facebook. I haven't totally figured out where I'm going to debut it yet, which I need to, because I've got the first episode in the bag. So I need to figure that out. I just learned Instagram and got my account like a month ago. So I'm kind of behind the 8 ball there, because I've heard that that's like the most powerful social media tool right now. But I don't know. You guys use it a lot?
Not as much as we should.
Yeah.
So you feel like me, like I spent all this time last year learning Facebook marketing and Facebook ads. And then I find out like Instagram's it. And I'm like, oh no, like it's like
And isn't it owned by Facebook? Isn't Instagram owned by Facebook? I mean,
yeah.
You have to forgive me. I'm an old man in this whole game.
That's how I feel. I feel like I'm like driving around in a covered wagon or something.
But I think back to like what you were saying, like, you're just a guy coming out and trying to play music. I think that's a lot of people around here. And I think that bands like Rise Again, Dusty Grant, people like that, they're gonna welcome people in with open arms, because it's just gonna, like, together we're a more powerful force, and You know, if you try to do it yourself, it's going to be very tough. But if you combine forces with, you know, other people who are, you know, high caliber talent, then it's going to make it a little easier to get your name out there, you know, and
Yeah.
I think that's a huge, but I'm glad that they help people do that, you know, and I'm glad that all the bands around here are kind of the same way.
Yeah. Yeah. And when I went down to Austin, I was like laser focused on, you know, making some kind of music career and things like that. And I think kind of at the expense of relationships and friendships and community with other people. And I just kind of came to the place where it's just not worth it. Like, I don't know that I want to do that anymore, unless it's about the people. And so to come here and to, you know, be able to have these friendships and be a part of a community like that, that means a lot. I mean, that's kind of why we do it at this point, you know. I don't know why you guys do it. What do you guys do?
But yeah, I think this is just a good place for music. I don't know how it stands compared to like Austin or Nashville or, you know, LA or Seattle, because I've never been in those types of scenes or really had much exposure in that. But I know what we have here is a really tight community that's growing and lots of venues that are thriving because of this ongoing support. You know, people are actually going to shows, but I feel like more people could definitely go to shows.
Always. I don't know what you're missing.
But I think we're at a point now where, you know, there's bands popping up every week that I'm kind of starting to see. Not as many falling off. You know, we've had a few kind of fizzle out, but that's just the nature of music. But I think, you know, there's a healthy amount of shows every week. I mean, you can take your pick basically where you want to go watch music. Depends how you feel. And I think this is a place where, you know, you could throw a country band with a rock group and people wouldn't, you know, oh, well, I don't like country. You know what I mean? Like they would just enjoy themselves if they were there watching it, you know?
You know, we've been in those situations where we've been on the bill with, you know, rock and all sorts of different genres, and everybody enjoys everything. Our fans, you know, enjoy the other bands and vice versa. And like I've been saying lately is nobody's stuck in this box around here. Everybody's kind of allowed to be as creative as they want and not stuck in one genre. And I think it helps everybody out, you know, the fans and the musicians, and you get to have more fun with it.
Yeah, and I think they get to be themselves as an artist here. There's no pressure like in Nashville. I mean, no pressure to try to have a certain sound, or, you know, nobody's trying to get on some label that's going to make them be a certain way. They get to be who they are as an artist, and there's a lot of creative freedom.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's music focused and not, oh, I need to get signed. You know what I mean? That's not, I don't think really hardly anybody has that thought around here. I think they just want to go play their music and have people enjoy themselves listening to it. I mean, that's, to me, that's what playing music's about. You know, it's not about money or fame or any of that. It's about, I took the time out of my day to create this, and I'm going to present it to you guys. And 9 times out of 10, actually 9.9 times out of 10, somebody's going to like it. That happens to be there listening to it. And there's not much better feeling than that, you know?
Yeah. There's a lot of hard workers here. And if you think about it, like as busy as we are, like some of these people in the music scene are like making a lot of personal sacrifices just to keep doing it. So I respect them a lot.
Yeah, I see a lot of hard work going into it. You know, keep bringing up his name, but Dusty, that dude just grinds and grinds. That dude promotes himself. I mean, it's crazy. And we've had him on here a few times to talk, and you know, he's like at wit's end sometimes, but he just keeps pushing through. And
Mhm.
He makes guys like us, in our band. It's like, well, we got to step up. I mean, if it's just one guy doing that, then
Right.
this whole group ought to be at least, doing half as good as he is. So, and you need that. You need a bar set somewhere, and guys like Dusty set that bar and make you work a little bit harder.
Mhm.
So kind of speaking to that, by seeing like a work ethic like that, do you think that it's important to set yourself apart? I mean, there's a lot of artists here, and there's sometimes like they're booked, like places are booked out now probably through summer to a certain degree. And what do you think people can do today to separate themselves, make themselves stick out? There's over 150 artists that we just stream here, and that doesn't even probably barely touch the iceberg of what's really here. So what do you think people could do to set themselves apart?
Oh yeah, you're right. There's like a bajillion good bands here. I mean, I think if you can tell a meaningful story, like through your music or through your social media or however you portray yourself, if you can tell like a meaningful story. A lot of this music taps into basic needs and desires and wants that we all have and can resonate with, kind of things about the human experience or something. And if we can just get good at telling our own stories as artists, those are shared experiences that a lot of people relate to. So I think that will help build the following, and then continuing to reach out and build those friendships and relationships. Like it's got to be about the people now, because there's too much good music. So it's got to be about more than just music. Because I mean, like we said earlier, you float an awesome album out into the internet and it just disappears into a black hole. I think it's about the story and the people. And if you have both of those and good music, then I think it's only a matter of time till somebody either gets you a gig, especially here, or start doing backyard barbecues if you have to. But if you're investing in other people, I think those barbecues will be full, and then you can move on to venues. There's a way. There's a way.
It's funny because that's pretty much how our band started. So.
Oh yeah. Cool.
Played a few of those little birthday party gigs and barbecues and stuff like that, and until it got somewhere. So
Played my share of house parties.
yeah,
Those are always fun.
Yeah.
That's actually
Never
one
know
of
what's gonna happen.
it's actually some of the lyrics of one of our first songs that we ever wrote. It's the lyrics kind of go, started out just a couple of guitar pickers sitting on a porch drinking natural light. What was it? Then somebody liked what they heard and they asked us to play on a Saturday night. That's
Yeah,
that's kind of how it goes.
it is.
I'm pretty sure I remember that from one of your live shows.
It's called Playing for Beer, and it's an ode to, one of your first shows you ever play, and you're not getting paid really.
Mhm.
Maybe not at all, but I mean, maybe you're playing for a beer tab or you know what I mean? Like just trying to get your feet wet, and the song's called Playing for Beer, and it's, that's what it's about. And really it's kind of strategic in a way, because that song gets people buying beers, because we, the lyrics, somebody buy me a beer's in there, and then usually somebody will buy us a beer or something.
Oh, I see.
So it's a good
Like,
mark.
load it out into their
There you go.
It's a good liquor salesman
He's
lyric,
thinking.
and then
That's brilliant.
the bar makes money, and we're not buying the beers, the customer is, and they're getting it for us, so we can just keep churning music out. No. But I think that was the strategy behind it at first, because we're like, well, if we're not getting paid really, and we have like a limited bar tab, well, we're going to max that bar tab out pretty quick. So now we need people to buy us beers.
well, and the more beer you sell, the more that bar is going to want you to come back.
Exactly.
So.
Right.
But,
Yeah, I guess if you had to, if you couldn't get a gig booked, make friends with a venue or like go work for them or something. There's other unconventional ways to get into the music scene here.
Yep. Shit, just go sit in Old Town and play some music if you have to.
Well, and you guys say that, but there are tons of open jams all the time.
True, very true.
That if you, you've got the gumption and you want to go, I know it's hard to go there by yourself and get up there and play the guitar in front of people, and you may have never done it before, but
Well, what's funny is, I play live shows all the time, and I still nervous as hell to even. I don't even want to get up there in an open jam because I'm afraid I'm going to look like a fool playing with somebody else, and I'm going to screw something up or like I don't know.
Yeah, that's got to be intimidating. I think we did a couple of open jams, but it was as a band. But to go up there as not as bad. But to go up there as a solo artist, like, all right, I'm gonna go play with these guys, and I don't even know these people, but I'm confident in my ability and my skill. Just
to set in with strangers would be. Yeah, it's nerve-wracking to me.
Right.
But.
I know.
But I think
screwed.
To me, I think that's where you really you gain a lot of knowledge and experience real quick, though. You're thrown into the fire, and
or you look like an idiot.
Yeah, you either look like an idiot, or you get through it, and you're like, that wasn't so bad, and then you go back and do it again. And I think for some artists, Glenn in particular, he started doing that.
Yeah,
he couldn't play, very good guitar at all. And he started going to these open jams every week. And, a month or two down the road, he's out there kicking ass, So, you just, if you want to play music, go do it. Like, there's somewhere you can do it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, are people going to enjoy it the first few times? Maybe, maybe not. But if you keep trying, eventually you're going to figure it out.
Oh, actually, that's how I got my first gig in Austin. Like my first paid gig. It was just because I kept going to this open mic over and over again, and the guy who was running it liked my stuff. So he was like, hey, do you want to come out here on a Wednesday night and cover an hour and a half and get paid? I'm like, yeah. So, yeah, it's a way in, definitely.
I know it's probably more nerve-wracking than practicing a bunch and lining up a gig, trying to do that first, but really it's not that much different if you think about it. You're just not.
Well, and you're getting other ears on what you're hearing,
Well,
you may hear it and think it's, oh my God, this sounds so good. But then somebody says, dude, I think you're out of tune.
Yeah, how do you know if nobody tells you, right?
But I think a lot of these open jams, not like the open mics where if you're by yourself, you're by yourself, but like the open jams, I think like they're stacked with such talented players. Like if you were to go up there and play guitar and sing by yourself, and had them backing you, they're gonna give you that confidence. I think they're gonna make you sound good because they're pros. They've been doing it for decades, and I'm glad that there's a lot of house bands out there like that are willing to let people sit in with them and give them a shot, because you never know who you're gonna hear. You might give somebody a shot who you think's, you can't really judge somebody over there in the corner waiting to play, and they might break out in the scene all of a sudden, so
right.
I'm glad there's those talented players that show up week in and week out and just kind of allow new people to come play with them and really encourage them. They're not out there discouraging any musician. Like they're like, okay, really like what you did, and they'll criticize you, but in a good way,
Mm-hmm. Did you ever go to the Barleycorns open mic?
I have not. I know Gus did.
I wonder if I saw him there. I used to go there a lot when it was on Monday nights, because that was kind of my testing ground when I started getting back into singing and stuff. And I used to go there a lot. It was a good experience. But eventually, like if you keep going to those, you'll start seeing some of the same people, which is kind of nice because some friendly faces, and you're not playing for a hostile audience of strangers every time. But even then, if you're doing that, I think you're learning to cope with the stress, and you're just going to be a better performer for it.
Yeah, more so than practicing in your garage or basement and then going out there. I think you're forcing your hand into it, and I think that's what Dusty does a lot. Like, he was at a certain age, and he's like, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. You know what I mean? And he forced himself to do it.
Quit relying on other people, and he just did it himself. And I got so much respect for people like that can, get up there by themselves with a guitar in their hand and singing and be able to, portray their message and sound phenomenal to do it. I just so much respect to them.
Well, if you mess up, there you can't blame it on the bass player or the drummer.
Right.
That's all
What's kind
you.
of nice about the open mic, I mean, you can go there and botch a song and, nobody's going to give you a hard time for it. So
To me, those are like a good opportunity to try new songs out you're writing and see how people feel about it maybe. And see, oh, that song was a horrible idea, or, people aren't going to care too much. They know what they're getting into being in the crowd, and most likely a good fraction of that crowd is going to play as well. So,
that's what I'd use. Like Kirby's, they'll always email me like 2 days before, and they'll be like, "Hey, you want to play a gig in 2 days?" I'm like, "Oh my gosh!" But I'll go there and I'll play some new songs and use it as kind of a test to see, should I play this song live? So they asked me to play a couple weeks ago, and I just used it as kind of a test for the CD release show. And there are a bunch of songs I was trying to decide what to play and what not to play, and I just played them there.
And it's a totally different crowd at Kirby's too. They're pretty accepting people up there, and
yeah, they are.
Different. It's a totally different crowd. So I mean, if they enjoy it, I think a lot of people are going to enjoy it because they get to hear all sorts of music. If you're a regular who goes up to Kirby's and listens to music frequently, like, you hear all sorts of stuff. Some good, some bad, some okay. As of late, mostly good. I remember when I first moved back up here to Wichita, I'd go to Kirby's with my dad, and sometimes I would use the earplugs they'd give out to you for free at the bar. I was like, what is this? What is this band? And I think that a lot of musicians have really stepped their game up around here lately, in the last 2 years or 3 years compared to like 5 or 6 years ago. It was always a gamble, at Kirby's 5-6 years ago. Now you can almost bet that if you go up to Kirby's, you're going to hear something pretty good.
Every time I go there, there's some awesome band opening or closing, or I mean, between that, all the bands I've seen and the ones I've had on my podcast just to review their music, that really almost makes me, I mean, I'm a songwriter and I'm like intimidated because there's just so much awesome music out there. I'm like, what am I gonna write next time? Like it's going to change me as an artist somehow, which is a good thing. But oh man, there's so much good stuff out there. There's some band called Idea. I think they play math rock. Had them on the podcast and just all kinds of stuff.
Wow, from Wichita?
Yeah.
See, there's so many people we've never heard of, and it's
right.
bizarre. And like I'll see some artists come across my timeline or something, and I look at it, I'm like, who's that? And then I listen to it, I'm like, that's good. And then I'm like, then I hit them up, and we get to conversating a little bit, and they have no idea we exist. It's like we've been doing this for a couple of years, and there's artists out there that have no idea, the magnitude of what's really happening out there. And then we kind of, to me, I try to like let them know what's kind of what we've been doing and that sort of thing. But I'd like to know the true magnitude of what's really happening here in town. You can go out every weekend and try to grasp it, but there's so much more that you're not seeing. And there's so many more bands that are probably too scared to play a show yet. They're writing really good stuff and they're not out there. Nobody even knows they exist. And it's bizarre just to kind of watch it all unfold. And
well, I think we've asked this question before. How many gigging bands that are playing shows on a regular basis do you think there are in Wichita?
Oh, a ton. I will tell you that, I grew up in Indianapolis, right? And when I started my podcast, I was going to try to do some bands from Wichita and Indianapolis. Indianapolis is probably 3 times as big as Wichita. I couldn't find hardly any bands, like at least who wanted to be on the podcast, or maybe were kind of some of the styles I was looking at. there just wasn't that much. And it's so weird. Like Wichita's a third of the size, and it's got like, 20 or 30 times the number of bands they have. It's crazy. So there's definitely something different and special going on here.
Well, like Eric said, we've got probably 175 bands on there now. I think that the number is more like 300, 400.
Well, yeah, there's lots of bands that I've grew up listening to going out with my dad that maybe they don't have original, and we're not even talking about like cover band type of bands. And
No, we're talking about original bands.
no, I know, but I'm talking about like gigging bands, period, in Wichita. That number is probably around 400 or 500.
Yeah.
It's just crazy because there's so many artists that I grew up kind of listening to over the last 10, 15 years. Very familiar with them, seen them many times. And, well, we don't have them on our station. Maybe they don't play original stuff, like particularly blues bands and stuff like that. They play a lot of classic blues songs and stuff like that. There are a ton of bands that they just, for whatever reason, maybe they don't play original stuff, or maybe that just doesn't fit into their business scheme, what they're trying to do. And I can't really knock them for it. If they're using that and making a good living out of it, then great. Obviously our focus is on original music because one, it's a legality thing, and two, it's just we want to get unique music and let people hear it. But overall, I would say at least 300, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how people keep track of it. There was a
I don't know.
website, ICT Fest or something, and it has a page that's like every active band in Wichita.
I saw that at one point, and
really?
it had every dead band in Wichita. It had that. And, I played in some bands around here, and it had none of them on either list. So I don't know how accurate that list is either.
Well, I think they probably
As
just
a
do the
reference.
best they can,
Well, I'm sure it's probably all, contributor, based. Hey, you want to put my band on there? We used to play back in the day,
So that's what we did. We're like, hey, we're a local band. Like, we'd like to be on your list. Basically, is what I hit them up, and then all of a sudden, Kirby starts hitting us up for shows and stuff. So I think places like Kirby's and stuff like that utilize that list, I'm sure, just to try to book music.
Yeah, the scene is growing so fast, it's impossible to keep track of all the bands.
I don't even know what you do, like, because there's only a certain amount of venues, realistically, right? We're talking about having 300 local bands, and there's not 300 venues, like there's, what would you say, like 15 to 20 that probably have.
Oh, there's a lot more than that.
Well, I'm just saying that frequently book music.
Yeah. On a weekend basis, I would say there's a lot. And even the surrounding areas, like you guys last weekend playing in Wellington,
Right.
There's a lot of places around there doing the weekend, weekend gigs, and places that don't normally have music will do Sunday morning deal, or excuse me, but there's a lot of surrounding area places. Skate park up in Hutchinson, I see a lot of stuff going on there. So I think there's more venues than you think.
Well, when they were getting ready to play at the Shamrock on Saturday, like Dusty and Buana, they were talking about, like, at 8:00 when the show was supposed to start, there was like nobody there. It ended up being like really well attended. The place filled up. But at first, like, they're like, well, where is everybody? And they just started naming off like this huge list of shows that were also happening at the exact same time.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, like no wonder it's so hard to, like, get fans. There's so many good bands to choose from right now, and they're all playing at the same time, on the same night.
Yeah, to me, that's to a certain degree a problem, because there's not more, like, average people going to listen to music. I think that's why we're making this huge push for go to shows, because say 3 really good country bands are playing in 3 different places in Wichita. Well, you're going to be splitting all those fans up between 3 different venues, and you might have okay attendance, but you're not going to have that rock star packed out attendance at all those places, because those fans have to pick and choose where they want to go, and I don't know if I don't know. It's kind of a weird thing to discuss, but I don't know if there needs to be a coordination between some of those bands sometimes, and like, well,
is there a solution to that? I mean,
not really. I mean, if you want a gig, you kind of got a gig, and I don't know. I don't know how you solve that problem other than get more people in general to go to shows.
Yeah, I don't know. There's different phases for me. Like sometimes I'll play as much as I can because I'm trying to get better, or I'm trying to like test out new songs or something. But then maybe there's other times where I'm like, okay, I need to not play for like 3 or 4 months and then schedule a show. And then I noticed Dusty and Rise Again kind of do that a little bit, because I tried to book Dusty at Augustino's, and he played back in October there, but he didn't want to take one because it was too close to his Shamrock show. And I think that's just being smart. So I didn't blame him at all.
Yeah, that's another thing is, trying to play too much in the same market. You can potentially flood people out, and somebody that it brings less excitement to your show, in my opinion. If you play too many shows too frequently in the same kind of area.
Yeah, we talked about that when we had Kenny Ballinger on a few months ago. We talked about overexposure, and trying to maybe network a little bit further out from Wichita and create your brand there, and then come back with a heavy hitting show. Just not oversaturate yourself in your market.
Yeah. You think we can come up with some kind of like brand statement to blanket the whole music scene that will like suck the average person into it, like Music Matters or something?
Well, we have the how we like to close the show, and it was coined by Glenn Shipman, but we have the whole go to shows.
Oh yeah. Like I love that.
I don't know, man. I don't know what it is, but I just think, like I said before, we need to bridge that gap and let everybody know that, look, this shouldn't be called a local band scene. This should be just your local bands, and they're creating a scene. They really are. I mean, they are talented, and they're worthy of of you checking out what they got going on, because it is phenomenal, the talent that we have. I say it all the time.
It's a slow build, I think, but I think you guys are on track and you're making a big contribution. So, I mean, I didn't know about any of this stuff several years ago, and now I know a whole bunch of bands. So you guys are part of that.
Well, that is our goal, and we want we want everybody to take it to the next level. We can't wait until one of these bands actually hits it, and hopefully we're a part of that, and you as well. I just hope that somebody's going to do it. Somebody's going to see this scene. It's going to be noticed. It's undeniable, and we're just happy to be part of it, and we can't thank the artists enough for allowing us to be part of their talent and to be able to promote them. So
yeah, that's what I always say. The artists are the one doing all the hard work. We're just kind of putting it together and getting it out there.
I don't know, man. You're working hard too. You could be, I don't know, playing video games right now, or doing something else you like to do.
Very true.
But this is a lot more fun. I mean, we really do enjoy doing this. I mean, we don't consider this work. I mean, it really does take up probably more of our time than our actual jobs do.
Right.
But it's so enjoyable, we don't care. We really enjoy the scene. We enjoy all the people that we get to meet, and like you, We get to meet all these cool people, all these talented people, get to talk to them, get to, hear their story. And it's just so interesting and fun for us. It's not work. This is what we would intend to do full time if we could.
Yeah.
I mean, if we could all pay the bills and do this full time, then that's what we would do. I mean, I'm speaking for Eric and Derrick, but I think both of them agree with that statement.
Yep.
You never know, man. I mean, when I came up here, I felt like a little bit of that Austin type of arts community was up here. And you never know. I mean, this could grow into something like that and be known as a music town. Maybe you work your way into a job.
Well, we often compare Austin as one of those towns that we're striving to be, that Wichita wants to be, with the pride and the flag and everything. Everybody's buying local, and it's all about Wichita right now. And we just think we got in at the right time, and we don't want a job. We want to make our own job. We want to do it our way, and we think we're doing it the right way, and we don't want anybody telling us how to do it. And that's why we created the station. We want to kind of shake up the norm and do it different, and be more artist centered and be more community centered and not be dollar centered. So that's why we started this, and that's going to continue to be our focus. I mean, we've seen growth in leaps and bounds here within the last few months. We can't thank the listeners enough. We can't thank our contributors enough. People like you and Trench Brothers, they're driving traffic to our website, and man, it's just been, a really fun couple of years watching this grow into what it has. And you've been a big part of it. I mean, the traffic that you drive to our website, and I hope it's, helping you as well. I hope that you're getting a little bit out of it too, and you're seeing, some numbers jump because of, your affiliation with what we're doing.
Yeah, I feel like things have picked up a little bit for me, and I mean, that's great, but the experience is a lot of what makes it worth it, I've been wondering about, at least for the Wichita music scene, if there's like some way that like we could partner with the city or something. I don't know, but it seems like if the music scene grows and is healthy, that's good for the city too. I mean, that
I thought the same thing. Yeah.
economy. So I don't know. I'm always thinking about that and things like that because I'm kind of a entrepreneur mindset. But
I know there was some like tiffs last Riverfest with local bands and stuff like that. It's a little bit of controversy going on.
yes,
And, on different levels, certain bands not getting to play, like they were promised and stuff like that for whatever reason, and other stuff going on. And I hope that Wichita can mend, like the city can mend that relationship between, the local music scene and the city, because that's a huge part of what they do, every summer with the Riverfest. Like, it's a huge thing to have local music and then incorporate regional and national touring acts all into one. And I think they typically do a pretty good job of that. This last year, I was kind of not sure, but I think the city would be open to it. They're obviously redesigning downtown, all that sort of thing. There's lots of renovations happening up and down the whole downtown area. And I think they're getting ready for something big. And I think the music scene is expanding into that as well. If there's going to be more bars and restaurant type of things open along the river, well, guess what? There's going to be musicians playing there. There's going to be artists making, doing live paintings there. And there's going to be more art galleries and dancing and performing arts and that sort of thing. And that's all art, and I do think that they're artist focused to a certain degree, but I think that there needs to be a little bit tighter of a relationship between the two. But I think they'll get there. I just think it's going to take some time.
Yeah, and this is a different situation than Indianapolis, because here I keep meeting musicians that are actually doing it full time. Like,
Yeah, it's wild.
I
I
mean,
couldn't do
I'm
it.
starting to, that number of people that I know who are full time musicians here, like guitarists and stuff, is growing, and I'm just blown away. I mean, I'm like, wow, respect that, like, you've actually, been able to make it to this point. That's awesome. But like, I can't believe it.
It's a little scary for me to think about,
Yeah, I'll
Have
probably lose my house if I do.
Right, I was like, I have responsibilities and stuff like that.
Well-
At this point, I couldn't do it, but maybe.
Well, it's like a day-to-day existence,
Right.
I totally respect it, but wow, that's putting your neck
It's rough.
out there. And yeah, much respect to them. And, to somebody that might be a dream come true. We don't know.
Yeah. That's pretty cool, though. I got guitars to buy, though, so I gotta, make some money. I'm just kidding.
Don't we all? We all got instruments we want.
Oh, no, I've been eyeballing a Gretsch, but I can't buy it anytime soon because I'm broke.
You are
Oh,
a part of the music scene after all.
I am so broke. It's not even funny.
Well, where are we at, Derek? We're about to run out of time again.
Yeah.
You have to do a
We got
little edit.
Got anything else we can talk about?
Oh, me?
Cover everything, or?
Yeah, I think we just go ahead and talk about your album release show again.
Yeah.
Kind of social media. And then, yeah, man.
Okay.
And then, of course, when we do end the show, we'll do the whole go to shows thing.
Okay. Cool.
Be ready for that.
Do a lead up into it.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
I think we're gonna cut this off here, but before we do that, Nathan, can you tell us where people can find your music and what you're up to?
Yeah, I've got some music on Spotify. If you look up Vandarth, I'm on Facebook, Instagram, vandarth.com, vandarthmusic.com. Don't ask me why I have two websites right now. I don't know. But yeah, just like you Google Vandarth, you'll probably find it. Not all of Space Coffin is on Spotify, only 2 songs. If you want the whole album, you'll have to go to vandarthmusic.com on January 30th or later, or go to the CD release show at Augustino Brewing, January 30th from 7 to 9. So that should be really fun. I'm going to tell a lot of stories about like why I wrote some of the songs and what they meant to me and things like that. And yeah, should be a good time. So I really appreciate you guys having me on. It's been really cool to get to know you, and I have a lot of respect for you guys for building this station, and I would love to see it keep growing.
Thank
you,
you,
man.
Yeah,
We
thank you.
really appreciate you and what you contribute to the station, and thank you for those kind words. And man, we can't wait to hear what you got cooked up. You can also hear Nathan's music on ict-radio.com.
Oh yeah,
Make sure you go check that out.
You can request it anytime too.
Right. You can request his music. We've got a lot of stuff coming up. We got our top 10 show starting back up in February. So look forward to that. Lots of new music on the station, including we're going to have some new Vandarth coming very soon. So I'll let you know about that.
I gotta send you that right after this.
Yes, please do.
Okay.
But like we always do when we close out a show or close out an interview, we like to go out on our saying. And this is coined by none other than Glenn Shipman. But go to shows. All right. Thanks, Nathan. Thanks for hanging out with us. Make sure you go check out his album release show at Augustino's on, what was the date again?
January 30th.
January 30th. Thanks for hanging out with us, Nathan. And we'll catch you later, dude.
All right.
Later.
See you guys.
All right, man. We want to thank Nathan Snyder in Vandarth, from Vandarth.
Yeah, man.
He is Vandarth.
He is Vandarth.
He is the.
That was a really, really, really good interview, man. I want to say thank you to him again for taking time out and coming on here and talking with us.
I always, every time I see him, I always pick his brain for at least an hour.
Yeah, he's such a smart dude. I just like talking to him. You know, really appreciate what he does for the station. Can't thank him enough for.
I like what he's doing, you know, musically and
Oh yeah,
and with his podcast is great, you know.
it is. It really, like I said, it really breaks it down.
We're not that smart.
No, we're not. We're not. We are not as smart as Nathan. So, yeah, listen to him if you want to hear some smart shit.
God, Eric, your old lady, man, I'm telling you, she's really trying to champion this whole green card marriage thing, man.
So she's trying to hook Derrick up with a foreigner or something. I don't know.
or something.
Or something.
There ain't no or something about it. It's just straight up.
That's exactly what she's trying to do. She's been watching way too much 90 Day Fiance on TV.
Apparently she thinks I need a mail order bride.
Well, Derrick,
It's consensual.
I've got a much better idea.
His face. I wish you listeners could see Derrick's face right now. He just has this like he ate 3 Sour Patch Kids and then just has this disgust and is like just not in agreement with the whole situation.
Yeah.
I'm with Derrick. I'm not agreeing with that.
Well, I'm not either.
Fuck
That's a
no,
horrible
man.
idea.
It's terrible. It's terrible.
Horrible idea.
No.
You gotta tell your old lady to chill out on that, man, because she's gonna get me drunk and I might actually fall for it.
Right?
Oh no. You know what? I'd much rather talk you into.
Craigslist misconnections.
Maybe that one's out there for me, and she put it on misconnections for me. I don't know.
Maybe.
Well, you never know. We could always look.
This is by far Tim's favorite thing about podcasting.
Oh, he loves it.
I do. Let's get right into it. Because I do love this. Oh my God.
I love being on the other end with no, I can't see anything.
Okay, here we go. We're going to get right into it. And I know that Derrick's going to put that stupid thing that I put together. Okay. Hottie at Kansas Vacuum Center in Wichita.
Hover around.
I'm out. I don't think
Got them
Hey.
Hoovers, dude. Checking out them Hoovers.
Yep. I'm probably out of your preferred age range, but just to let you know, ... We both pulled up at the same time. You got out and went inside. You looked over at me briefly and smiled. I sat outside for a minute on my phone. We walked inside and saw you working diligently behind the counter. You have beautiful eyes and they seem gentle. It was probably nothing, but I needed that smile, so thank you. If you happen to see this and even remember me, email me what color my vehicle is or maybe what I bought. Maybe I'm thinking too much into it. Either way, have an amazing day.
One comment out of me. One comment out of me here.
Okay.
She's working there. You know where the fuck she is? Go back there. Say something to her. Just like, hey, I really like, I really thought you were beautiful, yada, yada, whatever you want to say. This is the whole reason I came back, blah, blah, blah. Take that leap, dude. Straight up. Don't post on Craigslist like a vagina thinking she's going to go on Craigslist because she's not. We're the only ones that
You know
do
what?
this. We're the only ones that go on this connection.
I just, yeah. I don't get this sometimes.
All I got to say is man up. That's my comment.
Yeah.
You know where she is. It's not like you saw her at Quick Trip. You're never going to see her again. You know what I mean?
Concur with my colleague over here.
Oh, here we go.
That's sound advice, man.
Oh, here we go. Where are those burly married bears?
Derek, there you are, baby. You're not married,
I'm
no,
not
but
married.
You've been married.
If I
Does that count?
If I fucking find me a green card marriage, if I do
I'm
what
not
Haley
done.
says,
I'm not done. Okay, here we go. Where are those burly married bears? West Wichita. DWM, so that's divorced white male, right?
I
I'm
guess.
asking.
I think that's what we came up with.
Divorced
on the
white
last-
male looking for guys who need to scratch that occasional itch.
Oh my!
Divorced white male. You're correct, Tim.
Okay.
So I got a question. Is this dude woolly too, or is this going to be a big wool fest, or is he looking for like a half wool
Fucking bitch.
interaction, or I don't know.
Oh
Yeah,
my God! This
He'll
one
probably
ridiculous.
actually might get some hits on that though. I don't know.
This one's ridiculous right here. Okay. Longhorn Bull, Wichita. I used to hang out with a couple in Wichita. They would always host. He likes to watch the rodeo and she likes to ride. She said
right.
She said the white bulls were stocky and had nice 7-inch horns. She liked how they bucked when the cowgirls rode. You like the rodeo too? Say hi.
Oh my God, dude!
It's like they were talking all around the subject, and then they threw the fuck
Right.
word.
I mean, I get the picture.
That's fucking hilarious. That might be the funniest one yet.
That one's good.
He likes the rodeo, and she likes to ride.
Yeah. He likes to watch the rodeo and she likes to ride.
Oh my
Oh,
God!
man.
Fucking
This
freaks!
is great.
You
Man.
fucking freaks out there in Wichita. You never cease to amaze me.
I'm gonna question the next. I'm gonna question everybody around me next time I'm fucking pumping gas. Like, are you that guy?
Yeah. I'm not that guy.
Craigslist misconnection.
Oh, God. These are just so interesting. I think I know what I don't think they're talking about the British Broadcasting Company here.
Oh,
You were looking for a thick, long British Broadcasting Company, trying to meet up with the sexy female that was wanting to get together. If you're interested still, let's talk. Sure, we would have a good time. If you remember, I am tall, good looking, and have what you need. Send me a message if you are ready. British Broadcasting Company.
Craigslist misconnections.
Dude, it's not often I'm speechless, but I haven't been able to say fucking anything after these. These are Jesus Christ.
What the
Y'all
hell?
need, y'all need
is there like a fucking full moon going on, bringing the fucking freaks out, baby?
Well, and you know, I've looked at, like, I can go see where we did the last one because my Craigslist, you know, it turns purple when you've.
Is there a lot of them still?
Dude, there's a lot of blue ones. I haven't looked at a lot of these. There's a lot of them.
What ratio do you think this works?
I would say
50?
1%.
You think?
What the hell's this all about? Looking for a girlfriend, Wichita. Hi, my name is Joe, 316, and I am looking for a girlfriend, 993. If anyone is interested, text me, 993. What the hell?
Oh, you just gave out his phone number.
Is that some kind of... Oh, yeah, there you go. Okay, yeah, that's clever. I'm an
They
idiot.
do that. They do that in fucking the car ads and shit on there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see now. That's Joe. So if Joe is looking for a girlfriend, you can reach him at 316
Don't give out his phone number. You're gonna have every fucking
For a good
freak in
time.
town.
Probably it's
Joe,
probably
we're trying to help.
dude.
Joe, we're trying to help you, dude.
Do we call the number right now or what?
No.
Oh my god, dude.
No, we do not, man.
Oh
Why
my
not? Let's
God.
see what's on the other end, man.
Oh my god. I'm not gonna be a party to any of that. Like, I don't even want to fucking
Come
know.
on. that would be
I don't even
fun.
want to know what kind of freak shows on the other side of these fucking things, dude.
Well, maybe we can help him out.
Ugh.
We're like, so we needed your input on this podcast because we noticed your post.
And we wanted to know, has this worked for you?
You're using
Right.
your phone number then, Pierce. I'm not. That way he's calling you back.
I need a phone number spoofer for next week. And then we'll do something like that maybe.
Yeah. Oh my God, what? American Red Cross, Wichita. You were the friend of somebody giving platelets. I was the guy laughing at a movie. Hit me up if you see this. Remember the movie name?
Craigslist.
I will say that's pretty fucking specific.
Right.
Well,
Like if you read
you're the
that, you're
friend-
gonna fucking know. Like there's
if you were the
no.
friend of somebody giving platelets, make sure you hit this guy up.
There is no mistaking that one.
Because I know that when I give blood, I only give my platelets.
Sounds like somebody's trying to give somebody else some platelets.
Jesus.
Woo! All right, I'm going to do one more. Okay, let's see. Oh, this one's a possible misconnection.
Craigslist misconnection.
Blonde at the Vagabond. So this could be somebody that potentially listens to the station
Yeah.
or the podcast. Blonde at the Vagabond, Wichita. You smiled at me as I was leaving and said, "Please hit me up. I thought you were talking to your friend, but I couldn't stop thinking about it on the ride home." That's it. You can reply to this.
Maybe they were talking to their friend for real and you're just lost. I don't know.
Maybe you just maybe they were talking to this.
You know what? That's a fucking normal one. I'll take that one.
Yeah, there's no like, hey, we're cowboys and you're taking 9 inches. Like, there's like none of that
You're
shit.
gonna ride the horn and everybody's gonna watch.
Or big gay bears looking for a scratching post. Jesus.
Dude, it's so great.
I'm all for you doing what you want to do, but come on, man. Make it more normal.
It is my favorite part of the podcast, my favorite segment, the Craigslist misconnections. And I know you're going to put that stupid little song in there.
Which one?
Craigslist
You know
misconnections.
I just played it.
But yeah, that's a lot of fun. Man, we really do need to kind of expand on that. Maybe make some phone calls on that.
I agree. I totally agree.
I mean, why not?
We gotta
What do
set it
got?
up. We gotta protect ourselves though, because I feel like
We got to get one of those burner phones.
right. Yeah.
Go get us a track phone.
Right. Well, we got one more song to play left today. We want to thank our sponsor, Norton's, again. Thank you guys for believing in local live music and supporting the scene.
And
And
go
supporting-
check them out on Facebook.
Yep.
Yeah.
We have one more song, though. It's a brand new song that we got a couple days ago. Just got released just a couple
On the
days ago.
16th.
Yeah, the
On the
16th. And I really enjoy it.
We don't have a whole lot of this genre,
No.
but I feel like that, you know, the more that the scene grows, the more of this type of music is going to start coming out.
I think so.
Yeah, it's super good, super put together, super well put together. Yeah,
Y'all ready for it?
I'm ready.
I am.
All right. What are we going to listen to?
So to close out the show today, we've got Shauna Smith with her debut single, Love Myself.
It is for the radio station. I know that.
Right. Well, debuting on ICT Radio today is Shauna Smith with Love Myself.
Peace.
Later on.
I see how you truly are. Could never really get too far. Yeah. I'm still holding on like I always done. Yeah, you know I still got love for you, boy. It's like no matter how many times you did me wrong, I always came back to you. You took advantage of that. Aren't you ashamed of what you put me through? Yeah, put me through. Yeah, yeah. This time around, I gotta love myself a little more, because once you decide when you love me fully, I won't love you as much. So I got to love myself a little more this time around. Yeah, a little more this time around. If you would have took the time to communicate, but you're so full of hate, have to play the field and try to fill the void. Aren't you tired, boy? Can't just have one woman on your mind. Gotta have 3 or 4, but just know this time when I'm walking out the door, this is the last time you'll see me. Figure it out on your own now, 'cause now I got to find my own way out. This time around, I gotta love myself a little more, because once you decide when you love me fully, I won't love you as much. So I got to love myself a little more this time around. Yeah, a little more this time around.